The brand foundations that I create for my advisor clients are intended to be a decision-making filter,
Mm.
a document that sits above everything else. It's bigger than a marketing plan. It's bigger even than your strategic plan. It sits above all of that. It's your culture on a piece of paper, your mission,
Yeah.
your vision, your values, core purpose, tagline, all that stuff.
Yep.
The thing is, if we don't take concrete steps, the brand foundation risks sitting in a drawer
Yes.
and being forgotten, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
just the reality
Yeah.
of people running a business. So it needs to
Yep.
be operationalized. It needs to be
Yes.
integrated into every aspect of your business in a way that increases top line revenue without adding additional headcount. And I'm
100%.
speaking to advisory practices, which is my specialization, our specialization. I'm speaking to financial advisors, insurance advisors specifically.
Yeah.
So, Emile Studham, that is what
Yes.
you and your team do. You have
Yes.
experience working with the executive team at the Toronto Blue Jays, with a massive number of people at Hydro One, for example,
Yep.
and also throughout BMO.
Mm.
Please tell us, how do you operationalize the brand foundation, and what are the impacts of you doing so?
Yeah, love it. I think you're exactly right. The goal is to operationalize it. I think it's a good word. And I think that if you don't intentionally engineer, and I love the word engineer because it's design, build, and maintain a structure. If you don't intentionally engineer your work environments to have your brand foundation embedded into it, like the beginning of your team meetings, when you're conducting performance reviews, there's many different ways that you can embed the brand foundation as a ritual and or as a process. And if we don't intentionally do that, then it gets put in the top drawer, maybe the bottom drawer, and locked away
Yeah.
and then you kind of wake up one day and go, oh, we had that. Yeah. And I get this a lot, tell me a bit about your culture. Have you got a brand foundation? Have you got a code, whatever the language the team might use? And they go, yeah. Tell me about it. Well, hang on a second. I'll just find it.
Yeah.
Well, if you have to do that, you haven't operationalized it. So if you cannot speak about your mission, your core purpose, the behaviors that drive your results, because let's be honest, your culture is derived by the behaviors that you accept and reward of each other. And we actually define your culture as how you cooperate. And I love it in your book, Andres, there's that connection that your culture equals your brand. The only synonym for culture is your brand. So if you get it right internally and you operationalize your brand foundation internally, it becomes your customer experience externally. And that's a powerful thing because you do control what you do internally, but you don't control what happens out in the market. So our approach is to focus on what the organization can control and intentionally engineer their work environments for their brand foundation to be front and center at every ritual and every process possible.
Now, it's also not that. I mean, you have a proprietary discipline, a way of operationalizing brand foundation. So I don't want it to sound like it's that easy.
Yeah.
However, the process as you conduct it, it's not going to put a big burden on advisors. The last thing advisors want is more stuff to do.
Yes.
And this is not a big time commitment. And that's something that I really, really like about this, because something that we really want to get through to our advisor clients is that the work that we do is not going to take a lot of their time. So tell me about the process and how much time that takes.
Yeah, look, I love, many years ago when I had my previous company, Aussie X, we were working with schools.
What, you're
We were
Australian?
I'm Australian. Yes, wouldn't believe it, would you? And I learned, principals are such an interesting individual by way of they're the centerpiece of the organization and the school, like a CEO, but with minimal to no guardrails of protecting their time. Students can come into the office ladies can take their time, a school teacher, a parent. And so we always built this this idea that we have to be a seamless experience for the principal because they've got so many competing priorities. Same goes with your financial advisors and the organizations and small teams that you work with. They are a central person to the team and have to wear many hats at certain times, and they're getting pulled in many different directions. So again, I've adopted that same energy with this work. How do we make it a seamless process so the brand foundation sort of it fits in everywhere, but it's in a seamless way? So the process, though, has to be a little bit of work at the front end. So get the team together, and we usually do in very small teams at least a half-day workshop to discuss the brand foundation, what it means to us, and then start using some tools to practice using it. Okay. How do we make decisions using the brand foundation? How do we challenge the different aspects of our business and use the foundation as the reference point for those conversations? How do we use it to make decisions? And we particularly want to use it to have the tough conversations and make the hard decisions. That's when we actually need it the most. So your point before, it sits above the strategic plan. It sits above everything else. It does, because it's the foundation for the conversation and the foundation for the decision, particularly the tough ones. So to begin the process, we have to go through exercises to teach the team how to actually do that. And that's a series of exercises, and then go, right, where are the rituals that already exist in your organization? Let's embed it there and augment. Particularly, we focus very directly straight away on the team meetings, because that's the point in time where the team is together and we can use the foundation to have conversations and make decisions. And then we ritualize that. So it becomes an easy thing to implement and an easy thing to not do.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So our job is to have the accountability discipline with the client to make sure that that ritual of using it, say, to begin team meetings and hold the line long enough for it to become habitual, right? And that's what I think leaders who try to operationalize it without a coach to support it struggle, because the busyness of the external demands of the market and their environment supersede this attention on the brand foundation. So lo and behold, it goes into the drawer and it's not operationalized. So we specialize in that ritualized discipline and the accountability coaching to make sure it becomes habitual. Yeah,
I like it, and you're referring not in different words. We could say that it's the whole thing about important and urgent, right? This is really important, and advisors are very often, especially because the ones that are watching the market, they're taken away by what is urgent. They're distracted by what is urgent.
yeah.
Tell me about okay, you can't tell me too much about it, but what can you tell me about your work with the Toronto Blue Jays executive team? And we're talking about senior people here.
Yeah, legends.
Must have been unbelievably
exciting.
exciting. So what can you tell us about that?
Like any team that I get to work with at the beginning, they weren't as connected as they could be. Sport moves at a rate that I think the corporate world doesn't fully understand, by nature of there is a schedule of games that dictate, right?
I'm just laughing because I know that you've said in your TED Talk, and people should watch your TED Talk. You made a reference to in the sport world, you can't, the Toronto Maple Leafs can't call up the Montreal Canadiens and say, you know what, next Tuesday's game, it just doesn't work for us. Sorry, we've got a lot going on. Can we push it back? I mean, it's hysterical. So I get it. The corporate world does not operate in that environment. So very high pressure.
High pressure, right? So then again, if you haven't intentionally engineered and designed the environment, then as unplanned, people will do what they think is best. So now you've got this integrated, it's about 9 different departments throughout the Jays, and this is not dissimilar to any. This could be replaced to any team I really work with. And in reality, I think the old world where a lot of us grew up pre-internet, silos actually worked quite well. They kept us pretty safe through that industrial revolution, And you kind of need to know your role inside of your team. And then leadership were the ones that would take the information up and make decisions. So we'd move information to authority, and authority would then make the decision and disseminate it down, and often in isolation, right? Now, with the world and the internet and now AI, everything is interconnected. So imagine infinity symbols running through the departments and not straight lines running down. So now you've got an organization that provides this wonderful experience for the people of Toronto and Canada, Canada's team, which is great.
Yes.
From sales to ticketing to sponsorship to operations to analytics to fan experience and marketing. And they're kind of working in their departments. So when we got together and we did the diagnostic, we understood that there wasn't really a cadence of connection, a meeting cadence for these leaders to be meeting as one united team of 9.
Right.
So as soon as I figured that out, we started to run just a weekly huddle. We even nicknamed it the Mound Visit, as in like you visit the mound.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Using their language, using
And
their
it's not
values.
going to be
It was
long.
beautiful. Now,
I would think it's not going to be long, right? Yeah.
and then we just shared outcomes, needs, and roadblocks, and let that compounding ritual take effect. And 4 months later, we understood each other at a greater level. We could now make decisions in the best interest of the org and not just my team. And, I've been so proud of that team in particular because they have managed the renovations. They have managed the Taylor Swift concerts. They have managed so the crowds midway through after All-Star game last year sell out every game, including the World Series, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Without increasing headcount. So they elevated their capacity because they improved their cooperation. And that's the equation. I think what leaders don't fully understand is that underneath the corporation is behavior, and what drives behavior is the environment. So let's focus on the environment and let that beautiful cycle do its thing.
Wow, astonishing results, and
amazing.
It was such a joy to participate as a fan in that run. I think there might have been 18 playoff games. I watched every single one, almost every minute of every one.
Yeah,
I stayed up till whatever it was, 3:00 in the morning, 2:00, 2:30, whatever it was for that extra inning game. So yeah, and incredible results. Well, thank you, Emile Studham, for all of that.
Love it,
It's
mate.
about operationalizing the brand foundation that advisors have created with coin or without coin.
100%.
With coin clients, I've created core purpose statements, mission, vision, values, taglines for all kinds of advisors. And the opportunity here is to make sure it doesn't end up sitting in a drawer, and to, in contrast, operationalize it, integrate it throughout the business. It's not that big of a time commitment for advisors to do this.
No, it's not.
The opportunity is increasing top line revenue, increasing net profit without adding headcount. And I'm very excited about this program that we have. And if advisors or anyone listening or watching this would like to chat about it, just send me a DM, give me a phone call, fill out the form on the Coin website, whatever it is. And we look forward to talking with you further about it. So Emile Studham, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Andres. Great to chat with you, mate. All the best.